Yo, traders, how are we? Welcome to the live stream. Trader Tom here from Simply Forex, and I am with you for the next 45 minutes. I haven't seen you since the weekend, so I hope everyone had a nice weekend. I hope you didn't do anything that I wouldn't do. So you can pretty much do what you like. Guys, we are going to do a few things during this live stream. We are going to take a look at a trade that I literally took today. I took Euro New Zealand dollar. I'm actually in 3 trades, but a couple were from last week. So I'm actually in Euro Swiss franc. I'm also buying oil, and today I freshly got into Euro New Zealand dollar. So we'll show you all of those trades. Also, let's take a quick look at the economic calendar, because as you can see, guys, there isn't any real big news coming out later on today. Okay. The big news that came out was this interest rate decision that came out of the Royal Bank of Australia. So they were expecting to, decrease the interest rate to 3.6% from 3.85%, but they actually kept it the same. So it's quite unusual that you get an interest rate that misses expectations or misses the forecast. And as you can see, guys, we've just seen real strength come into the Aussie dollar off the back of that, right? This is the H4 chart. Aussie dollar strength, obviously. Aussie dollar Swiss franc, Aussie dollar strength, of course. Aussie dollar yen, Aussie dollar strength. You get the idea, guys, right? We saw some real Aussie dollar strength off the back of that. So, yeah, it makes it difficult to trade the Aussie dollar once you've had a piece of news like that, because to be honest with you guys, I actually want to trade Aussie dollar weakness, but today's probably not the day to do that, right? Because of that important news that come out earlier. So yeah, that's the only news really we're interested in. Also, guys, please don't forget to ask as many questions as you like during this live stream. So come say hello, leave a question, and it could be anything you like to do with trading. So don't be shy, come say hello. Let's see who is in the house before I show you my trade. Tony, let's go, Trader Tom. Hi, Tony. Raphael wants to look at Euro Canadian dollar sell. All right, we'll take a look at that. Pooh Poppy, hi. Brett, afternoon. Fapello, how are you? Don't normally see you on the live stream. Welcome, mate. Fapello always puts his trade ideas in the Discord channel. Always has some great ideas. Hanny, how are you? Good afternoon or good morning, wherever you are in the world. It is afternoon here. It is 4:03 p.m. to be exact. So there you go, guys. Let's start by taking a look at the trade that I am in today, right? And it's Euro New Zealand dollar. Okay, so why am I in this trade? So let's just understand it, guys, right? So I'm in this trade because, first of all, look at the weekly, right? The weekly is clearly in an uptrend, higher lows, higher highs, and we're just getting bullish candles, bullish, bullish. This one isn't necessarily bullish, but this one is. All right, so we're getting bullish candles in an uptrend. So the weekly chart looks good for buys, and we had a little bit of room to move into. Okay, still hasn't quite hit that level, this 9,600 level. And then if we drop down to the day chart, again, we're in an uptrend, right? You can clearly see we're in this uptrend, right? We're getting higher lows, higher highs. You don't need to be Warren Buffett to see that's in an uptrend. And we've been getting nice bullish candles. And what I like about yesterday's candle, this candle here, is that we broke these highs in here. This was proving to be good resistance, but we broke it. And that is a continuation of trend. And like I say, we've still got a bit of room to move into back up to this 1.9600. So again, guys, lots of common sense, lots of logic. That's how you should approach the charts. That's what price action allows you to do. right? But obviously, price action takes a bit of time to understand and use, right? It's not as, simple as people make out, right? But a lot of common sense, a lot of logic in what I say, right? I'm just showing you the facts of the chart. And then basically, guys, I usually enter on the H4, and I did exactly that, right? Again, we're in this H4 uptrend, right? Okay, so we're getting higher highs, higher lows, right? We're in an uptrend. And I basically entered on this candle here. Okay, because we're in an uptrend, we had a nice retrace back into this grey zone, which is a support level, and we're nice and close to the moving average 20, and we had a ping away from that level, right? So I started buying literally here, put my stop loss below here, and I'm looking to take price back up to here. I will take some profit, and I'll probably let a little bit of profit run, although I don't see there much room to move into. Okay. And there you go, guys. That is my Euro New Zealand trade that I am in. And as always, if you want access to my trades that I enter, then you can see this is the Discord channel. And this is specifically the VIP Discord. But here you go. Euro New Zealand buy, entry, stop loss, take profit. Okay. And yeah, we took some profit on pounds yen yesterday, and I'm still in these two trades as well. Still in oil, which is going well, and euro Swiss franc, which is just going up and down and doing sweet FA. All right, so that's everything that I'm in right now, guys. But that's enough about me. What the hell are you looking at? So let's see who's in the house. So Raphael, okay, we'll look at EuroCAD. Let's say hello to a few more people. Akshay, hi Akshay, how are you? James, hi. Aussie Trev, hi. Mark, how are you? Hi. Yeah, okay. So we said hello to everyone. So let's start with this question. All right. So Euro Canadian dollar, is it a sell on the daily time frame? So let's take a look for Raphael. One of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I believe. Right, EuroCAD. Now, let's have a look at the day chart, because this is an old alarm, right? So to give you, this is a really good example of why we look at multiple time frames, right? Because if I just looked at the daily chart on Euro Canadian dollar, right? You can see we're in an uptrend, right? So I want to buy the market. Excuse me. I always say I mustn't eat before I do a live stream, but I have plowed my way through a few milk chocolate digestives. Honestly, I'm a very weak man when it comes to chocolate. Anyway, we're in an uptrend, right? And we want to buy. Right, and it's, to be honest with you, like it's not really overextended. Here's the moving average 20. Price is not a million miles away, right? Also, bullish candle, bullish wick, right? If anything, I would say we should buy Euro Canadian dollar back up to this level here, right? That is what the daily is telling me. But, if you made any decision, whether it's a business decision, a decision about your future husband or wife, right? You're not going to go on one piece of data, right? Don't know where I was going with the husband and wife bit. But, you're going to get more data. You're going to find out more about the trade, the person, the business, right? So daily's telling me I should buy this. It really is. But if you look at the weekly chart, right? And we zoom out, you can see that there is a key piece of resistance here with Euro Canadian dollar, right? And we are literally hitting that level, okay? So if I didn't really look any further than the daily, I probably wouldn't spot that. But you can see, we're still in an uptrend, right? There's no getting away from the fact that we're still in an uptrend. But do I want to start buying into a really significant level? And the answer is no. We haven't had a very bearish reaction at this level. In fact, we've just got a doji, right? But look at all and again, look, this is a good little thing to focus on, right? So look at that candle, right? What does that tell you? That tells you buyers are in complete control. Look at that candle. That tells you buyers are in complete control. Look at this candle. It tells you buyers are not so sure. Sellers have come back in. We don't know who's going to win. And why has that happened? Because we're at a key resistance level. Buyers are seeing that level. They're like, I don't want to take liberties and keep buying into it. I will take some profit. Right? Of course. Okay. And therefore you see sellers come into the market. So nothing's telling me to sell this, right? If anything, the daily's telling me to buy, but the weekly chart would put me off buying this. Let's have a look at H4 because, this has structurally broken down, right? So if we follow H4, okay, so uptrend, kapow, in the words of Batman, we're in a downtrend, right? So we're getting lower highs, lower lows, right? So H4 is really a sell trade, but there's not enough confluence, not enough reasons for me to take this trade. So I will stay out of this trade. Simple as that. But I hope that helps Raphael. Right, well, so we've got any other questions in? Okay, so Brett wants me to take a look at gold. We've also got the Germans, we've got the DAX, we've got the Aussie dollar, Swiss franc, and hello, Luigi. Right, let's take a look at gold. Guys, before I take a look at gold, which is a really nice sell trade right now, by the way. Before I look at gold, if I could please ask everyone to subscribe to the channel, smash the notification button, and please smash the like button. If you haven't already, guys, please come join our trading community as well. We've got the free Discord channel. In there, you can talk to like-minded traders, have a chit chat. You don't have to be alone trading. Also, guys, if you want access to all of our premium education, including the course, including our mentorship program where I coach you one-on-one, and including the VIP Trading Academy, which I showed you at the start, then please go check out the website, www.simply-forex.com. Also, right now, guys, if you sign up to the free Discord, it's free. You'll get 50% off the course. Gold is a sell trade, right? So let me justify why I think that, right? It's not my opinion. It's what the facts on a chart tell me, right? I don't want to listen to opinion, right? People say to me, oh, I think pound US dollar is a sell trade. Now, yeah, if you think that, back it up with reasons, okay? So it's not my opinion, it's what the chart tells me, right? So if we look at gold, okay, as you can see, we was in this uptrend and we have just hit a nice level of resistance now. We have resistance, 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 right? That is clearly a resistance level. Gold has found a bit of a ceiling. We wondered, would it ever find a ceiling, right? I was selling gold. I was going round and, but if you're ever going to sell gold, now's probably a good time. So if you've got a stash of gold, you're probably a millionaire. Sell it. Only joking, but gold is at its all-time highest, right? But we have found a ceiling here, right? And at this ceiling, we've had a couple of bearish weekly candles, and we've had this candle, which is a bit indifferent, right? It is a bullish candle, but it's not really telling me buyers have taken control, right? And if we look at the next piece of logical support through here, right? From this level, we still have a bit of room to come down into this level, right? Now, I wouldn't normally go up this far, but if you look at the monthly, right, look at these wicks. Yeah, look at those wicks on the monthly. Those are telling us sellers are in town at this level. Okay. Now, sellers haven't been strong enough for it to push down, but, you know, sellers are in town. Now, if we drop down to the day chart now, okay, we're in a downtrend. It's as simple as that, right? We was in this uptrend, and now we're in a downtrend. This is where we're at, right? We're getting lower lows, lower highs, right? We're below the moving average 20, literally just bouncing off it. Okay, so from a trend point of view, it suggests we can take price back down to these lows, if not a little bit further. And obviously that relies a lot on strength coming back into the US dollar, right? Because it's gold against the US dollar. And you can sort of feel and see a little bit of US dollar strength coming in, right? Now, you know, please bear in mind the 90-day tariffs finish, the 90-day pause on tariffs finishes tomorrow. So that can have quite a dramatic impact on the dollar, right? So need to tread carefully with that. But everything here is pointing for a sell trade. Plus, we had this nice big bearish candle. The only problem with this sell trade is this big bullish wick, right? There's sellers, buyers, right? But if I had to, you know, if you said, Tom, you have to trade it in one direction, I would go with daily trend, right? Now let's look at the H4 because that has broken down nicely as well, okay? So if we look at the H4, right, there's in an uptrend and now we are in a downtrend. This is where we're at, right? We're getting lower highs, lower lows. Not only that, we've just had a very nice big bearish H4 candle, right? And I think there's enough room just to take it back down to this level here, right? Start selling in here, stops above here. Like I say, the only thing preventing me from doing that really is the fact that it's 9th of July tomorrow. And, you know, the reaction to these 90-day tariffs may be very muted, right? It might be, right? It might cause fireworks. Probably will be quite muted. But, you know, dollar is going to be one of the currency pairs that's really affected. And obviously gold, because gold is a safe haven flight to safety. And however investors see this how investors see the tariffs pausing will really affect flight to safeties like gold, yen, and Swiss franc, right? So need to be careful there, guys, right? And I really hate things like this looming over the market. You know, Trump is a pain in the ass. Right? He keeps coming up with all this crap and, you know, he's trying to, you know, good for him if he's trying to do the right thing for America or whatever, you know, whether you like him or not, or you think he's doing the right thing or not, there's always a piece of crap that we have to deal with. And this is one such thing. It just, you know, I don't listen to noise, right? Or I try not to the best of my abilities. But this is one piece of news that you know, these 90-day tariffs are coming to an end. The pause, sorry, is coming to an end. It's just in my mind all week. I can't help it. And that's listening to noise, right? But in a very long-winded way, gold is a sell trade down to there. So Brett, there you go, mate. Right, what else are we looking at? Okay, James Pinhall, he wanted to look at the DAX. Hi, Marky Mark. Hi, Eric. We'll try and get round to everyone's questions as well. Guys, if you want to have priority questions on the channel, you can simply by becoming a supporter of the channel. I think it's like $1.50 or something like that if you want to. Right, let's take a look at the DAX. I always call the DAX the face ripper. It's just something that stayed with me over the years. And that is noise. That's me, many years ago, probably getting my face torn off by the DAX a couple of times. And that has just stuck. And that psychologically sticks. So you shouldn't form opinions of any asset. Like I have traders come up to me and they're like, I really don't like yen pairs. I'm like, you shouldn't really form an opinion like that. Somebody comes up, I really don't like trading oil. Okay, you shouldn't really form an opinion. But I say this and I call the DAX the face ripper. But again, guys, let's do a top-down approach to really understand the DAX. Right, so I'll tell you what we're going to do, guys. We're going to do this one together because I think it really helps everyone, understand how to read price action, how to read the charts. So let's do this one together as one big happy family. Before we do, I'm going to have a drink of water. Bit of Evian. There are other brands available. But yeah, so guys, let's do this together. So guys, some of you will know the drill by now, some of you won't, but everyone get involved. You're here to learn, right? So we're just going to look at the DAX on the weekly chart, right? And the simple question is this: would you buy, would you sell, or would you stay out of this market? So everyone right now looking at the weekly chart in front of you, would you buy, sell, or stay out? Please leave your comment below in the live chat. Right. So we've got Kibria, stay out. Brett, stay out. Michael, stay out. HD, stay out. Mark, stay out. Poo Poppy, stay out. I love your name, Poo Poppy. Who else? Luigi, stay out. Niraj is a buy. Okay. Marky Mark is a buy. Lily, hi Lily, how are you? Lily is a buy. Lee, how are you, Lee? Lee is a stay out. And Tony is a wait, which by default is a stay out. Okay, so the majority is a stay out, right? And some have said buy. Okay, so let's look at the facts of the chart, right? Again, I'm not a believer in opinions. I am a believer in what the chart is telling me, right? As should you be. Now, if we look at trend, I mean, we're going to go back here, right? Tariffs. 90-day pause, right? But this is pretty much where we're at, right? And therefore, we're in an uptrend, right? These lows held because this wick closed back in. We're getting higher highs, right? And, potentially higher lows here, right? We're in an uptrend, okay? But these are the last weekly highs, right? There's also a support level through here I'm going to draw in, right, down to there. We see this pattern time and time again. What was resistance becomes support. My God, if you only traded one setup, make it that setup. What was resistance becomes support. What was support becomes resistance. Trade in the direction of trend. Buy your Lamborghini at Christmas, right? Now, so again, fact, right? We're in an uptrend, okay? And we've bounced off what was resistance becomes support. We've got this nice big bullish candle that bounced off of support. This candle doesn't really, it's not telling me anything. It's not telling me sellers have taken back control. It just still tells me buyers are in control. So if anything, you don't have much room. Right now, this would need to make sense on a lower time frame in terms of your risk to reward. But I think there's enough room in here to buy that, back up to these highs. Okay, but there's not much room. So I would say it's a buy trade, and depending on how much room you think there is, it could be a stay out. But I would actually say this is a buy trade. I think there's enough room to move into on the weekly chart, right? But let's get another opinion. So just to recap, weekly is a buy, right? For all of the reasons I said. We've got trend, we've got support, we've got bullish candles, and we have just about enough room to move into. Okay. Right, next. So let's take a look at the daily chart, guys. Same question to everyone. What would you do? Would you buy, sell, or stay out on the daily chart? Leave your answer in the live chat right now. Okay, so we've got Poo Poppy would stay out, Brett would buy, HD is a buy, Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch is a buy, Mark is a buy, Kibria is a stay out, Luigi is a buy, Michael's a buy, Lily's a buy, Aussie Trev is a stay out, Tony is a buy, Dream Lifestyle, could you look at silver? Yes, in a moment. Niraj is a buy. Okay, so again, buys or stay out, right? I'm glad no one has said sell this, right? You know, both on the weekly chart or the daily chart, right? It is bullish, right? But this right here is interesting. Now, this is interesting in terms of structure and trend, right? Because sometimes people can get a little bit confused with what is the last high and low, right? But if you look at the uptrend, we broke that level, so therefore that's a low. We come down, we broke this high, therefore that is still a good low. We come back down, and we didn't break this high. So therefore, you would say that this is not a significant higher low, right? By the letter of the law when it comes to exercise books and structure, right? Higher highs, higher lows. However, if price does break that low, it does make it difficult for me to buy that, okay? But really, this is what we're looking at, right? So it doesn't matter if you class that as the last low or that as the last low, we have broke both of them. So we are in no doubt, right, that this is a downtrend, right? Now the problem with this downtrend is we've come up to here and we found, let's say we found a new lower high, right? But from this new lower high, price hasn't done this, right? Price can do what the F it wants, right? And all of a sudden, we find ourselves with quite a confusing structure. Really, we do, right? Would you agree? It becomes a little bit confusing at that point, right? Now, again, by the pure definition of price action, you know, we're still in a downtrend until we break this high. But you cannot ignore these levels, right? You really can't. So what I would need to see is the following. So for just before we even look at candlesticks, support and resistance, just purely looking at the structure makes it not a trade for me. There's not enough clarity with trend, right? I think you would agree. It's become a little bit unclear. So to make it clearer, to clear it all up, to to make it clearer, this is what I would need to see happen. Now, two things. Let's say we get a bullish candle that breaks this level, right? I would be interested in buying it. But all of a sudden, I wouldn't, because there's no room. We know this is the last high. I don't want to buy into that. Okay. And remember, the weekly was a buying opportunity. So you remember we spoke about, is there enough room? I'm going to say, even if this trade plays out and we do get this bullish candle, right, that breaks those highs, there's just not enough room for that to play out. Okay. Now, the alternative is we get a big bearish candle that breaks these lows, right? And all of a sudden, that would be looking like a very good sell trade, and it will probably make its way down to these lows. But because of the current weekly picture, which we all agreed was a buy or at least a stay out, I wouldn't be interested in this trade either. So from a price action structural point of view, the DAX has become difficult for me to trade. And I hope that makes sense, guys, right? You know, I need the market to confirm things to me, right? I need it to confirm that, Tom, we're clearly in an uptrend, everything's telling us to buy, or we're clearly in a downtrend and multiple time frames agree. And we're just not getting that with the DAX, right? So, yeah. That's what we're seeing with the DAX. If we look at the weekly chart and you said, Tom, you have to trade it, right? You know, I'd be looking to buy it back up to these highs. But again, tomorrow, you know, this is an indice. Tomorrow and Trump's tariffs, what will happen? Maybe nothing, maybe fireworks. Who the hell knows? I certainly don't, and don't believe any analyst that does know what's going to happen, because they don't. Nobody knows the future. Only Trump knows what's going on in his head. And I wish I was Trump's right-hand man. I'd be a millionaire. So, yeah, there you go. I hope that helps with the DAX. Right, we did have some other questions here as well. Where are we? Just scrolling through. Okay, so we've got Mark here wanting to look at Aussie dollar, Swiss franc. Okay, let's take a look at Aussie dollar, Swiss franc. We are getting a bit of Swiss. Well, this is more Aussie dollar strength, actually. Right now, we spoke about this news earlier. Right, so if I just take you back to here, so any trade involving the dollar today, you have this bullish interest rate. It was better than expected, right? So that piece of news early in the morning makes Aussie dollar difficult to trade, okay? Because if you look at the day chart on Aussie dollar Swiss franc, right? Yeah, I'm going to say that's a high. This is where we're at, right? We're in a downtrend, lower highs, lower lows, right? We're in a downtrend, and candles are bearish, right? This is a bearish candle, and this candle, the body of this candle broke all these lows in here. That is a continuation of trend. So if you said to me before the interest rate decision, what is Aussie dollar Swiss franc today? I would say it's a sell trade. Okay, and just to show you that, guys, right, if I show you the free Discord channel, so we've got the VIP and we've got the free Discord channel, but in the free Discord channel, please come and join it, it's free. You will see that I put my trade ideas in here every day, right? So come join it, you can look at these ideas. And look at this, Aussie dollar Swiss franc is a sell trade. And then I say this, with the Aussie dollar pairs, we have just had a better than expected interest rate decision from the Bank of Australia, so need that to settle. So this is what I think of Aussie dollar Swiss franc, right? So let's go back to the chart, and it's exactly that. You know, the thing is, because that interest rate was better than expected, just look, right? Aussie dollar's strong, of course it is. So for me, I want to sell this, but on the back of that Aussie dollar strength and all that good news, I'm not going to sell it. right? There's too much buying, bullish behavior behind that interest rate. So there you go, Mark. Hope that helps. Right, Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch wants to look at New Zealand dollar, US dollar. This brings us to another really interesting point as well, guys. All right, so New Zealand dollar, US dollar is blatantly a good sell trade, right? But let's start with the day chart. Now, what I want to ask everyone, right, with this New Zealand dollar, US dollar trade, right? Everyone get involved, Don't be shy. No one bites here, actually. A few of those names, a few of them bite, so be careful, right? But on the whole, they're not biters. But New Zealand US dollar on the day chart, what is the trend? So everyone right now, guys, don't be shy. Please tell me in the live chat right now. So what's the trend? New Zealand dollar, US dollar. I'm going to have a drink. Thirsty work, this YouTubing. Right. Aussie Trev says uptrend. Brett is a buy, so uptrend. Mark is a buy, so uptrend. Marky Mark up. Poo Poppy buy. Lee bullish up, up, up. Right? So there you go. Right? That's kind of answered the question for us, right? Now, I'm not saying you cannot take certain trades against trend, okay? But if we look at New Zealand dollar, US dollar, that is the trend we're in, right? So we have not broken those last lows. We've got higher highs, right? We're clearly in an uptrend. So generally speaking, I want to buy New Zealand dollar, US dollar. But, you know, I'm never, ever, ever going to buy that candle, right? And a few things are suggesting this could be a good sell trade, but it's going against trend, right? Because we had this area in here, right, where price, you know, and it's never a coincidence, guys, that is literally at the moving average 20, right? We found some support here at the moving average 20, but price never carried on, okay? In fact, we broke down, right? But this is not a daily structure break because that is the last low here. But we've got a nice big bearish daily candle. We've got price closing below the moving average 20. We've got lots of room to move into, right? There are a few reasons to sell this. And what you'll see here is this level is basically a beautiful H4 level, right? So if we go down to the H4, right, we could see the price was in this uptrend, and now H4 has been breaking down, right? And we've even got a nice pullback to what was once support becomes resistance, right? And we've got nice bearish candles or bearish wicks, let's say, bouncing off of that level, which is literally at the moving average 20. J'adore. I don't know why I've gone French, but j'adore that level. You didn't know that I spoke many different languages. Okay. Bonjour. Ça va. Okay. Je m'appelle Tom. If there's any French speakers in, I apologize for the accent, right? Very un-French. Anyway, that is a beautiful, wonderful H4 trade. It really is. And you've got a nice big bearish daily candle. So really it becomes a judgment call for you as a trader. You have to ask yourself, is there enough reasons for me to take a trade against daily trend? And again, yes, maybe there is. But again, I've just got Poxy Trump in my little brain. And just, this 9th of July, right? And it's, it's literally tomorrow, right? So, yeah, I wish Trump wouldn't plant things in my head. Or maybe I was abducted by the Trump administration, and he's, like aliens. Anyway, I'm being silly now and laughing at my own jokes. So yeah, there you go. It's really a judgment call. I'm staying away from it. But what I have done is buy Euro New Zealand dollar, right? Which also plays into that New Zealand dollar, US dollar sell trade. I've just gone for Euro New Zealand dollar, got some bullish candles, because this is in a daily uptrend and a H4 uptrend. So you don't need to be fixated on New Zealand dollar, US dollar. You could perhaps trade that New Zealand dollar weakness that you're seeing against the US dollar against a different currency pair, right? You've got 28 currency pairs to choose from, right? So take a look at other potential trades. So there you go. I hope that helps. What else are we looking at? Sorry, guys, if I missed some of the questions before. Lee's got a thing here. Hi, Tom. Trump is consistently inconsistent. Yes, isn't he just? He goes hitchhiking, but sets out 2 days early to miss the traffic. He's an absolute pain in the ass. Couldn't put it better myself, Lee. I totally agree. Just with like the with the tariffs. He's gone, right, tariffs, everyone, tariffs. He's like, well, shit, the indices are dropping like stones. Pause the tariffs, right? And everyone's like, what, what's going on? Yeah, he is not conducive to smooth markets. But, let's be honest, there's always a reason why the market isn't smooth. And we've had this before Trump. Right, there's always something, guys, right? But Trump just seems more regular with his stuff, weirdness. Eric, hi, Tom. What do you think of pound Swiss franc? I'm waiting for a retracement into resistance off the head and shoulders before selling. Okay, so let's see if we can find the head and shoulders. Okay, before selling. Okay, so let's... So are you seeing... I'm not really seeing a head and shoulders here. Okay, maybe this. Right, if you get a retrace back into there, maybe, is that what you're saying? A retracement into resistance. Okay, so there's definitely a level here. Right, so this could be an interesting level to sell pound Swiss franc. And okay, on the H1, I can kind of see a head and shoulders there. Right, but again, guys, with chart patterns, you just need price action. Sorry, with chart patterns, everything can be explained with price action. So let me do just that. On the H1, we was in this uptrend. Price didn't know what to do back at these highs, right? And then it broke down. So on the H1, we broke these lows. We're in a downtrend. A retrace into here somewhere would make sense for a good sell trade. I would probably want to see a break of this level as well. Right? So, okay, I get that on the H1, but the H1 is never my direction. So let's take a look at the daily. And nothing's telling me to sell that at the moment, right? I know we're in a downtrend, right? There's no two ways about that. Lower highs, lower lows. But look at these candles. That is very bullish. That has a bottom wick. This one has a bigger bottom wick than it does a top wick. So these are quite bullish candles to me. So that suggests we could come up to here, right? This level. And then we come lower, right? Just by looking at those candles. Now, if we look at the H4 as well, it's found itself in a range, right? Where's my pen? It's just ranging between here and here. So really, this is how I would trade it. If we get a bullish H4 candle through here, I would suggest there's a high probability we make it up to that daily resistance level, right? If we get a break of these lows and a big bearish candle, I would suggest we're going to make it back down to these lows here. So again, it's one of those where I would wait and let the market tell me. All right, so I hope that helps, Eric. And also, guys, if you haven't already, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, smash the notification button, and please smash the like button. Please come join our free Discord channel using the QR code on the screen. It's free to join, so why the hell not? Also, guys, please come and check out our website if you want access to any of our premium trading education. All the links are in the channel somewhere. You will find them. The editor does all that. I don't have a clue where any of that is, as you can probably tell. So, guys, yeah, what I want to do is thank you for your time. Thank you very much for joining me for the live stream. Same time again tomorrow. Get your questions ready for me. Let's look at the live charts, and I'll see you tomorrow.